आतंकवादियों को मिट्टी में मिलाने के लिए भारत की सेनाओं को पूरी छूट दे दी। आतंक का हर संगठन जान चुका है कि हमारी बहनों बेटियों के माथे से सिंदूर हटाने का अंजाम क्या होता है। हर उस जगह जाकर कठोर कार्रवाई करेंगे जहां से आतंक की जड़ें निकलती हैं। भारत के इन हमलों में 100 से अधिक खूंखार आतंकवादियों को मौत के घाट उतारा गया। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने आतंक के खिलाफ एक नई लकीर खींच दी है। आतंक के खिलाफ लड़ाई में एक नया पैमाना, न्यू नॉर्मल तय कर दिया।
On April 22nd, the cold-blooded massacre of innocent civilians in Pahalgam in South Kashmir was a planned attack by Pakistan-based terrorist groups. The planners of this barbaric killing acted in full knowledge of the consequences. 25 Indians and a Nepali citizen were killed. The heartbreaking images of several Hindu women who lost their husbands made an entire nation rise up in rage with the demand for justice. In the wee hours of the 7th of May, India retaliated. India launched Operation Sindoor, hitting hard at the terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
A niche technology weapons with careful selection of warheads was ensured so that there will be no collateral damage. The point of impact in each of the target was a specific building or a group of buildings. All the targets were neutralized with clinical efficiency, and the results reiterate the professionalism of the Indian Armed Forces in the planning and execution of their operations.
Through consecutive days, from May 8th to 10th, Pakistan targeted Indian military bases, triggering powerful and stronger responses from the Indian side. After 4 days of intense confrontations involving drones, missiles, and long-range weapons, on the evening of the 10th of May, the two sides reached an understanding on halting military actions.
The Director General of Military Operations of Pakistan called the Director General of Military Operations of India at 15:35 hours earlier this afternoon. It was agreed between them that both sides would stop all firing and military action on land and in the air and sea with effect from 1700 hours Indian Standard Time.
Generations of Indians have believed that India is fated to live with Pakistan-backed terrorism as a constant condition and threat, but no more. Hours before the ceasefire agreement kicked in, India declared that any future act of terror against the country will be considered an act of war and will be responded to accordingly.
नमस्कार।
On the 12th of May, in the first address to the nation since the Indian military's retaliation to the deadly Pahalgam terror, Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared that Operation Sindoor has created a new normal in India's national security doctrine. India made it clear that the neighboring country will have to pay the price for cross-border terrorism. In the 22-minute speech, Prime Minister Modi reiterated that the pause of Operation Sindoor is not a conclusion and that India will continue to assess Pakistan's every move.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने आतंक के खिलाफ लड़ाई में एक नई लकीर खींच दी है, एक नया पैमाना, न्यू नॉर्मल तय कर दिया है। पहला, भारत पर आतंकी हमला हुआ तो मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया जाएगा। हम अपने तरीके से, अपनी शर्तों पर जवाब देकर रहेंगे। हर उस जगह जाकर कठोर कार्रवाई करेंगे जहां से आतंक की जड़ें निकलती हैं। दूसरा, कोई भी न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल भारत नहीं सहेगा। न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल की आड़ में पनप रहे आतंकी ठिकानों पर भारत सटीक और निर्णायक प्रहार करेगा। तीसरा, हम आतंक की सरपरस्त सरकार और आतंक के आकाओं को अलग अलग नहीं देखेंगे।
Prime Minister Modi sent out a clear message specifically to Pakistan and the world at large, asserting that terror, trade and talks cannot go together. His speech stressed the hardening of India's stance against cross-border terrorism and its resolve in the face of perceived threats. Just a day before Prime Minister Modi's address on the 11th of May, the Indian Army confirmed that multiple high-value Pakistani terrorists, including those involved in the 1999 Indian Airlines IC-814 hijacking and the 2019 Pulwama attack on security personnel, were among 100 terrorists killed in Indian strikes on terror camps in Pakistan and POK on the first day of Operation Sindoor on May 7th.
I have no doubt in my mind that we achieved total surprise, and those strikes across those 9 terror hubs left more than 100 terrorists killed, including high-value targets such as Yusuf Azhar, Abdul Malik Rauf and Mudassir Ahmed that were involved in the hijack of IC-814 and the Pulwama blast.
India's Operation Sindoor marked a shift in India-Pakistan military dynamics. For the first time in history, India targeted terror camps in the heart of Pakistan, Punjab. In just 25 minutes, 9 hubs of terror were pounded, 5 in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and 4 in Pakistan. All this without even crossing the borders. Unlike the 2016 Uri surgical strikes, 2019 Balakot airstrikes or other past Indian operations that were limited in scale and scope. Let's recap the events from the operation and take a look at each target. Target 1, Markaz Subhan Allah, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Bahawalpur, Punjab, Pakistan. The Markaz is the operational headquarters of the Jaish-e-Mohammed and is associated with terrorists who plotted and executed the Pulwama suicide bombing attack on February 14, 2019. The Markaz house JEM chief Maulana Masood Azhar and holds religious training for terrorists. Azhar, who was arrested in India in 1994 and set free after the Air India IC-814 hijack, claims 10 family members and 4 aides were killed in India's targeted airstrikes under Operation Sindoor. He has vowed revenge. Mohammed Yusuf Azhar is the most important kill during Operation Sindoor. He was JEM founder Masood Azhar's brother-in-law. Yusuf was a wanted, accused in the 1999 IC-814 hijacking case. Hijacked flight IC-814 was diverted to Kandahar in Afghanistan and led to the release of Masood Azhar from an Indian prison. Although he was not physically present on the plane, Yusuf Azhar was one of the key masterminds and coordinators of the hijacking operation. Another senior JEM operative, Hafiz Mohammed Jamil, was also killed during the operation. He is the eldest brother-in-law of Masood Azhar. He was reportedly in charge of Markaz Subhan Allah, the headquarters of JEM in Bahawalpur, Pakistan. Jamil often visited POK to recruit for the JEM and to raise funds for the group. Target 2, Markaz Taiba, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Muridke, Punjab. Set up in the year 2000, Markaz Taiba is the alma mater and training center of the LET in Muridke, Punjab, Pakistan. The 2611 terrorists were trained here. Osama bin Laden reportedly financed the construction of a mosque and guest house within the Markaz Taiba complex in 2000. Mudassar Qadian Khas was also in the group, eliminated. Khas managed the affairs of Markaz Taiba in Pakistan's Muridke. It was at this facility that 2611 terrorists Ajmal Kasab and David Coleman Headley were trained. Videos of Khas's funeral showed a guard of honor by the Pakistan Army. His funeral prayers were held in a government school, led by the Jamaat ud-Dawa's Hafiz Abdul Rauf, a designated global terrorist. Involved in multiple terror attacks in J&K, Khalid played a key role in smuggling weapons from Afghanistan for the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Senior officers of the Pakistan Army and the Deputy Commissioner attended his funeral in Faisalabad. The Indian Army said Khalid recently shifted to the LET headquarters in Muridke and was part of the group's central committee. Sarjal Tera Kalan Facility, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Shakargarh, Narowal District, Punjab, Pakistan. Tera Kalan, or the Sarjal facility, is the launch site of the Jaish-e-Mohammed for infiltration into Jammu and Kashmir. This facility lies concealed on the premises of a primary health center in Tera Kalan village. Target 4, Mehmoona Joya facility, Hizbul Mujahideen, Head Marala, Sialkot. The Mehmoona Joya facility of Hizbul Mujahideen is located near the Kotli Butta Government Hospital in the Marala area of Sialkot district in Punjab, Pakistan. This facility is used to infiltrate Hizbul Mujahideen terrorists into the Jammu region. Target 5, Markaz Al-Hadith Barnala, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Bimber district, Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Markaz Al-Hadith in Barnala is one of the important Markaz institutions of the LET and is used to infiltrate LET terrorists as well as arms and ammunition into the Poonch Rajouri Riasi sector. Target 6, Markaz Abbas Jaish-e-Mohammed Kotli. The Markaz Abbas of JEM is located in Mohalla Roli Dara Bypass Road, Kotli. It is located 2 kilometers southeast of Kotli military camp and accommodates 100 to 125 JEM terrorists. Target 7, Mashkar Rahil Shahid, Hizbul Mujahideen, Kotli, POK. This is one of the oldest facilities of Hizbul Mujahideen. Hizbul Mujahideen terrorists visit this facility for specialized physical training, as well as training in firing arms. Target 8, Shawai Nalla Camp, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Muzaffarabad, POK. Shawai Nalla Camp is one of the most important camps of LET that is used for recruitment, registration, and training of LET terrorists. It has been functioning since the early 2000s. Target 9, Syedna Bilal Markaz, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Muzaffarabad, POK. Syedna Bilal Masjid is the main center of JEM in POK, located opposite the Red Fort in Muzaffarabad. This facility was a transit camp for JEM terrorists before they were launched into Jammu and Kashmir. Another terrorist killed in Operation Sindoor is Mohammed Hassan Khan. He is the son of JEM's operational commander for Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Mufti Asghar Khan Kashmiri. Kashmiri oversees key JEM training facilities, including the Markaz Syedna Bilal camp in Muzaffarabad that functions as a transit and training center for terrorists. Before these strikes, India announced a string of diplomatic measures, including suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty, the treaty which has survived 4 wars, decades of cross-border terrorism against India by Pakistan, and a long history of antagonism between the two countries, was suspended for the first time, in response to the deadly Pahalgam terror attack.
terror.
On May 12th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated India's firm stance on cross-border terrorism, declaring that terror and talks cannot go together. Water and blood cannot flow together. The water and blood reference was a clear rejoinder on Pakistan's earlier threat that blood would flow if not water.
पानी और खून भी एक साथ नहीं बह सकता.
While India may have agreed to a ceasefire, the Indus Waters Treaty remains suspended. The Pakistan Prime Minister's office condemned the move as an act of war and announced a series of retaliatory diplomatic measures as well. It suspended bilateral pacts with India, including the Simla Agreement, which validates the line of control. The landmark 1960 treaty, brokered by the World Bank, governs the sharing of water from the Indus River system between the two countries. Under the treaty, India was granted unrestricted rights over the 3 eastern rivers, Ravi, Beas and Sutlej, while Pakistan was given exclusive control over the 3 western rivers, Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. At the same time, the treaty allows each country certain waters of the rivers allocated to the other. The treaty gives India 20% of the water from the Indus River system and the rest 80% to Pakistan. So although the western rivers are allocated to Pakistan, India retains limited rights to use its waters for non-consumptive purposes, including domestic use, irrigation and hydroelectric power generation.
The purpose behind the treaty was essentially to take the management of these rivers, and there are 6 river tributaries of the Indus River Basin, which are essentially being divided between both countries under the terms of the treaty. The idea was to take the management of these rivers out of the hands of politicians and put it into the hands of technocrats and bureaucrats, so that whatever frictions happen, political or geopolitical frictions between both countries, the treaty would continue to hold in place. And that's what's essentially been the case. So the treaty has withstood previous conflicts between both countries. Both countries went to war in 1965, 1971, 1999, and there have been subsequent frictions over the last 2 decades. But the treaty is held in place. So the idea was to essentially depoliticize the management of these waters.
The 2 hydroelectric projects in Jammu and Kashmir have been a bone of contention between India and Pakistan for years now. In January 2023, New Delhi issued a notice to Islamabad seeking modification of the treaty. This was the first such notice in more than 6 decades of the treaty's existence. In September 2024, India sent another notice to Pakistan on this matter. Pakistan has reportedly objected to the design features of the 2 hydroelectric projects, saying they violate the treaty. On May 13th, the Ministry of External Affairs said that the Indus Waters Treaty will remain suspended until Pakistan aborts its support for terrorism.
As per CCS decision that I referred to of 23rd April, India will keep the treaty in abeyance until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism.
And India will continue to employ non-kinetic measures such as diplomatic and economic actions to pressure Pakistan. On the 13th of May, 3 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists were killed in an encounter with the armed forces. In the Keller forest area of Jammu and Kashmir's Shopian, the Indian Army launched a search and destroy operation after receiving specific inputs about the presence of terrorists. The encounter comes a day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi promised counter-strikes as a response to terror, without differentiating between terrorists and the regime that also sponsors them.
The arms and ammunition included AK-47 rifles, magazines, grenades, wireless sets and other ammunition which was recovered from the possession of the 3 terrorists who were killed yesterday in the Shopian district. One of the terrorists was wanted from last 2 years and was a top commander of Lashkar-e-Taiba. The other 2 were also involved in the civilians, especially the non-local laborers who were killed in the southern part of Kashmir. Security forces have called it a massive success and said they were on a lookout for these terrorists for quite some time. On the other hand, there are posters of 4 terrorists involved in the Pahalgam attack which have been put up all across the Shopian district with a reward money of 20 lakh. If at all anybody gives information, his identity will be kept a secret. There are multiple combing operations that are still continuing in the forest area of Pahalgam and Anantnag district. Security forces are still carrying out those combing operations at multiple locations across South Kashmir to look for the terrorists involved in the Pahalgam attack.
Operation Sindoor is not just a one-time operation. It signals a decisive shift in India's strategic approach against terrorism. As India continues its hunt for Pahalgam attack perpetrators, it aims to ensure that Pakistan and the terrorist groups that it nurtures receive the message, loud and clear, that India will respond if India and its people are targeted. And this is India's new normal.